What's going down, everybody, and welcome back to the Commander Ad Populum YouTube Altered Art tutorial series. As promised, I'm going to take a few minutes today and talk to you guys a little bit about developing a theme. And today's commander is the Altered Art Shirei Shizo's Caretaker All Altered Art Project Nightmare Fuel deck that I showcased a couple weeks ago, and I want to talk a little bit about developing a theme. Now, this video is going to be a little bit different than my other Altered Art tutorial videos because developing a theme a little bit is I'm going to call it a little bit more of an advanced alterer's kind of skill, ability, technique, something that you develop, something that as somebody who's more experienced, you can offer suggestions to people that are coming to you with commissions, and something that as your confidence grows, you'll get better and better at doing and developing. And who knows, maybe you're somebody who just appreciates altered art cards, or you're working on a deck and you want something outside of just, hey, this is my altered art Avengers, or this is my altered art cartoon, my altered art Disney deck, right? We're going to take it a step further because baseline, when you say altered art theme deck, or if you go to random Facebook pages or altersleeves.com or whatever, and you're looking for an Eldrazi themed deck or a Disney themed deck or an Avengers themed deck, you're going to be able to find people that do those kinds of altars. You're going to find those types of creations and pieces of art that people can paint onto cards for you, but we're going to take it a step further today. We're going to talk about developing a theme, developing a motif, developing a through line. If there's multiple themes or sub-themes within the deck, we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff. I'm going to start off with Shirei, and you can see several things right off the bat. We've got the Phyrexian symbol, the circle with the line through it. In terms of this deck that we're talking about, this is the Phyrexian crucifix, if you can imagine a crucifix in Christianity. You can see the Mask of Yawgmoth. This is sort of like the symbol that represents the air quotes god of Phyrexia, Yawgmoth. That's the symbol for Yawgmoth. You've got some Phyrexian text, and then the whole card is done with black, white, a little bit of brown to give it a little bit of a warmer tone, and gold. And there we're seeing our themes all coming into play all on one card. The commander sets the tone. It's the first card you see in the Altered Project, and it's giving you a little bit of everything that the deck is going to offer you artistically. The color scheme, the motifs, the traditional magic symbols that we're reinterpreting as religious symbols, some Phyrexian text, we're getting it all here. So we're gonna remember all of those kind of themes as we look through some more of the cards. The first ones I want to showcase are the demons. This is a Shadowborn Apostles deck, as demonstrated on the last deck tech that I did on the deck. But these are the demons that you're going to find with the Apostles, and they do have the continued motifs or themes of black, white, gold. This time we're introducing red, and then we do have some of the Phyrexian kind of symbols again here, and there's a tombstone down here. There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of slime, there's a lot of gore. The point is, we're using the same colors, the same icons. We're using them in the same way that we did on the commander, but we're doing it in a different art style. And that's why this is a little bit more of an advanced technique for alterers, because we're doing something that looks, feels different. In cinema or in movies and in music, this is called a leitmotif. And the leitmotif is a repeating bar of music, but played in a different way or added or subtracted from the original theme or the original motif that was written to kind of generate a different mood or a different ambience or create tension or create sadness. So the leitmotif here is the color schemes and the reappropriation of the magic symbols, the Phyrexian crucifix and the Mask of Yawgmoth, as actual religious iconography. That's the through line. Now, after saying all that, you can move away. And if you remember the deck tech from a couple weeks ago, there was a bunch of altered art lands that were just standard borderless alterations. This is a little bit of a technical thing where when you're searching for lands or when you're searching for the demons, you want to be able to find everything just as easily as if it wasn't altered and you had the original art. That is a little bit more easy to recognize, especially if you're going to lend this deck out to a friend so they can show it off, so they can have kind of the experience of playing with an all altered art deck. You're going to have the lands done a certain way, maybe, to make it easy for them. But we can repeat that theme, and we do have 3 lands here that do have the Phyrexian symbol in some way, shape, or form. They've got the text box, they've got the original art in these two's case, the Cabal Coffers and the Nykthos. They have the original art intact by and large. The point is with showcasing these is you can do something that's similar to the original, but incorporates the through line of the Phyrexian religious symbols, or you could do something completely altered art and just know what this land does. But as a staple of the format, Ancient Tomb taps to give you 2 colorless, deals 2 damage to you. You just have to know that. And upon knowing that, or upon explaining that to somebody who's borrowing the deck from you, you can actually incorporate your theme quite heavily into or onto a card, even if it doesn't exactly match the rest of the styles of the land. Okay, continuing with that thematic through line or that leitmotif, we've got a few more here that, like that Ancient Tomb and like the demons, are starting to introduce a lot of red. They continue to show us the Phyrexian religious through line motif, but we're also starting to introduce a little bit of what might be considered dominance, eroticism, a bastardization of beautiful parts traditionally. First up being one of my favorite altars in the deck, the Tendrils of Agony. Again, there's the Phyrexian symbol. This is one of a few cards that feature mouths really close up, traditionally thought of as being a very delicate, very beautiful part of the female form. And we are getting some eroticism. We are getting some dominance as a theme with those really close up paintings of mouths. And I think that that's consistent with how the Phyrexians are and what they're about. Remember dominance, remember completion, bastardization, what they would call completion or perfection, right? Modification. We are getting some of that in these next few pieces. We've got another one. It incorporates the symbol. It incorporates religious symbols. We've got what is probably a fairly beautiful lady doing something or putting her body or herself in a position that could be considered erotic. So we're seeing the through line. The same here, same color scheme, same close-up of a mouth. We're talking about money this time. Money to a lot of people means power, and power means dominance over others. So again, through line, different pieces, maybe different styles, all the same theme. Switching it up a little bit, we've got a few pieces that feel a little bit more religious in nature, where we have crucifixes or pikes. Again, dominance. Again, religious iconography. We're seeing it again. And then finally, just a few more that are going to showcase or highlight things that people might find luxurious, expensive. Expensive means you have lots of money. Having lots of money might make you feel powerful. We've got a Dolce & Gabbana background on this one, sort of on this one, sort of on this one. And then this one, this Exsanguinate, to me a little bit feels like something from a really old medical journal or a textbook or something. When I see something like this, I think anatomy textbook, I think doctor. Again, I think if you were a doctor or if you are a doctor and you want to assert dominance or a position of authority upon people, which would be a very bad thing to do, by the way. I'm not condoning this. But if you are evil doctor or you've been enlisted by the Phyrexians to help you learn about anatomy or help you learn or teach them how to perfect maybe a new species. Maybe the Phyrexians invade Earth and they don't know how to perfect and operate on the human form. Maybe they would enslave doctors and the doctors would have to learn their language and transcribe our medical textbooks into the Phyrexian language for them to understand. And this is kind of what this piece reminds me of. The title, the heart, Hearts Pump Blood. If I were to do this piece again, I would try to incorporate red in it somehow. Let's say that this text was inside an operating room. You can imagine a very dirty, filthy, often used operating room by the Phyrexians as they're doing research in perfection on the human race. This is where you would find this piece of text. And I would incorporate that red through line into this art to tie it into the deck a little bit more. Again, just thinking about theme, thinking about how to make it all jive, thinking about making the best product possible and the best fully altered deck. The final pieces that I want to talk about today are the Apostles. And again, I did show all of these off already. I'll have a link or a card to the Deck Tech video available either at the end of this video or in the notes to this video. So if you're watching, you can watch that too, where I show off all the cards, because I'm not looking at all of them today. But these were kind of the inspiration for the deck, and they are strictly in here from an artistic standpoint to inspire fear. The deck is called Project Nightmare Fuel, and these are just supposed to be scary. It was the original inspiration for the deck, is to do these in sort of a loosely religious factor, and then the theme was built on top of the Apostles after they were all done. And if I found a piece of reference art that I thought was scary, creepy, or very ironically anti-religion or dark religion, like a skeleton nun or like sexy nun, for example, I wanted to feature it. And these were the inspiration for the rest of the deck. And that's kind of how it happens sometimes. Sometimes you don't know starting out. I mean, you have 100 cards or 60 cards maybe if you're not an EDH player. You have 100 cards and you just start. You find or you develop or you identify something that makes sense or that you like. And that's how the theme develops. So again, from a more advanced altered art standpoint, you can maybe have a vision, you can have an idea, you could have the skills, the talent, the ability to do research and find reference images to develop a theme or a leitmotif, a through line of all the pieces of art in a deck. Or you might not have that. Or if you're not an artist and you're wanting to commission an altered art deck, you might just have a piece of art that you like. And you say to your artist that you work with or the multiple artists that you work with, I like this. This is what I'm into. This is the feeling. This is the idea. And sometimes an artist will need a lot more reference material or art direction to give you what you want, and sometimes they won't. And I've had success in either direction, where I've had a lot of direction and I give somebody sort of exactly what they want or asked for. And like this deck, I had an idea with, it was probably these two Apostles that really made me think, let's incorporate other religious iconography into the deck. It was probably these two. And the client, my friend Aaron, said, go hard. And that's what I ended up doing. And that's how the deck is the deck that it is now. So I wanted to share developing a theme. If you have any questions, please comment in the comments below. Get at me at CADPopcast on Twitter. I love to discuss all things alters. Check out the rest of the altered art tutorial video. A link to the playlist will be at the end of this video. Check out the Deck Tech, where I go into how the deck plays a little bit in addition to all of the pieces of art that are in the deck. Give me a like and subscribe. And of course, find Commander Ad Populum wherever you find podcasts every single Wednesday. Every second Friday's a Deck Tech, so make sure you check those out on YouTube as well. Thanks for being here, guys, and of course, happy altering.